All right. Good day, STEM panelists, teachers, and fellow students. It is a great honor to present our research today. This study represents our curiosity, teamwork, and dedication to exploring ideas that matter. We are grateful for this opportunity to share our findings, and we hope our presentation will be both insightful and inspiring. Thank you for your time and attention, and we hope you enjoy our presentation.
This research investigates the impact of the TALA online lending application and the financial performance of the micro entrepreneurs in Cainta Rizal. It explores how digital lending platforms like TALA emerge as accessible alternatives to traditional financial institutions, particularly for small businesses owners who face barriers such as lacks of collections from credit history and
We focus on how TALA online lending affects the financial performance of micro-entrepreneurs in Barangay San Isidro, Cainta Rizal. Many small business owners can't access traditional bank loans. Some often face financing barriers due to strict bank requirements, so they turn to apply TALA, which offer fast and convenient loans. It explained why online loans like TALA are popular among small business owners and whether these loans help or harm their business finances. However, it is not clear if this loan truly help business growth's financial problems due to interest and repayment pressure. This research identifies the financial changes experienced by micro-entrepreneurs before and after using TALA and evaluates its impact on sales, profit, cash flow, business growth, and overall financial stability. The result of this study can benefit business owners, educators, researchers, and policymakers in understanding the real effect of online lending on small businesses. It also examined borrower demographics and usage pattern to understand the broader impact, creating ethical and sustainable lending regulation.
The Chapter 2 of our study presents the review of related literature and studies, which provides a theoretical and empirical foundation of our research. This chapter discusses both local and international literature and studies related to online lending and microentrepreneurship. So the common challenges, based on our local and international studies, it both highlights similar challenges faced by microentrepreneurs. These include limited access to traditional financing, lack of financial management skills, dependency on short-term loans, data privacy risks, and inconsistent business outcomes. These shared issues show that while digital lending platforms like TALA provide easier access to credit, their success still depends on responsible borrowing and proper financial literacy. So local insight, based on the local studies from agencies such as DTI and PSA, it highlighted that microenterprises make up over 90% of businesses in the country, yet it still struggles to get loans from traditional lenders. Other local studies show that many microenterprises in the Philippines operate without formal accounting systems. Because of this, their financial performance is usually measured through practical indicators such as sales performance, profitability, cash flow stability, business growth, and financial stability.
Chapter 2. Reviewed studies shows that many microentrepreneurs continue to face challenges in obtaining financial support from banks and other formal lending institutions. This difficulty often arises because they lack the necessary collateral such as property or assets, and do not maintain complete financial records required for loan applications. Most of these small business owners operate their businesses informally without proper documentation or accounting systems. As a result, they rely on simple tools to measure their performance such as tracking their sales, profit, and cash flow. This limited financial documentation make it harder for them to qualify for traditional bank loans or access formal credit channels. Ang pag-usbong ng mga digital lending platforms tulad ng TALA ay nagbigay ng mas madali at mabilis na paraan para makakuha ng puhunan ang mga micro-entrepreneur. Sa tulong ng mga mobile applications, pwedeng mag-apply ng loan gamit lang ang cellphone, wala nang mahabang pila o sobrang daming papeles na kailangan. Dahil dito, maraming maliliit na negosyante ang nagkaroon ng pagkakataong palaguin ang kita. Mapataas ang tubo at mapalawak ang kanilang negosyo.
Research gap. In this part, research reviewed past studies noticed that a lot of researchers have already talked about financial performance, but most of them only focused on one or two parts like sales, profitability, or maybe cash flow. Some also discussed business growth or financial stability, but never all of them together. And the Group 3 researchers' research gap comes in. There's no single study that has ever combined all 5 key financial metrics like sales performance, profitability, cash flow stability, business growth, and financial stability in one complete framework. Because of that, there's still no clear picture of how TALA online lending really affects the overall financial performance of micro-entrepreneurs. Most studies only took one side of the story, like how TALA improves sales or profit. but they don't tell us how it impacts the business as a whole.
For this study, we use a quantitative correlational research design. This means we gather numerical data to find out if there's any connection between using the TAL online lending and the financial performance of micro-entrepreneurs here in Barangay San Isidro, Cainta. We didn't manipulate or change any variables, but we just observe and analyze the risk. Our respondents are the micro-business owners in Barangay San Isidro, Cainta, Rizal, who uses the TAL online lending. So based on our PSA and other resources, there are around 1,031 micro-enterprises in the area. So to determine how many respondents we needed, we used a Slovene formula with a 10% margins of error, which means it gives us the sample size of 100. So next one, for our data gathering, we use a 31-item survey questionnaire to measure how TALA affects the financial performance of micro-entrepreneurs. So we have these 3 parts of the survey that are the demographic profile, average monthly sales, and also the financial performance. So we use a Likert scale for the answer. So like for example, from strongly disagree to strong.
Alam namin na maaaring tanungin kung maasahan ba ang aming research instrument or ang aming questionnaire. In response to this question so concern, we decided to use convex alpha dahil ito ay isang statistical measurement na sumusukat sa reliability, validity, or internal consistency ng aming questionnaires. Sa madaling salita, it answers the questions on how well do our items or questions globally reflect or measure the same underlying concept, which is financial performance. Through the formula you see on the screen, we end up with the convex alpha of 0.89, which indicates good reliability or validity. Ibig sabihin, consistent ang aming mga questions and it measures the financial performance as it was intended to do so. It means that our questions are not redundant and answering the survey sa unang page naka-indicate ang aming ethical consideration. Nakalagay dito kung para saan lamang ba yung aming research at yung kanilang mga sagot ay para lamang sa purpose ng aming research. Nakalagay rin dito ng aming consent form na naka-indicate ang voluntary participation and our responsibility or ang responsibilidad namin sa confidentiality ng mga respondents.
This will be the chapter 4 or the presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. So natapos na tayo sa pag-conduct ng ating survey. So we have the results, we have tabulated all the responses, nakuha na namin yung data that was required for our study. So we will now start the presentation. So for presentation, we have 2 statistical analytical tools, which is descriptive and inferential. So for descriptive, we just use the frequency distribution table and verbal interpretation. So with that, yung mga respondents data namin is tinabulate lang namin. So, nakita namin dun yung occurrences, so frequency, and then we also get the percentage. So, kung ilang percent ba yung ganong responses out of 100%. Then, we have after nyan, we have conducted the mean. So, kasi kailangan natin mahanap kung ano ba talaga yung naging parang middle point or parang mean verbal interpretation out of all the responses. Kasi, take note, we have 100 respondents. So, we have to analyze all of the questions kung saan sila papatong, kung isa ba siyang strongly disagree, agree, or neutral, or whatever. So, with that, we also conduct or use the inferential statistical tools, which is chi-square. So, if the question is bakit namin ginamit yung chi-square, it's because we are dealing with categorical data. So with that being said, we just want to know if there is an association or significant relationship between yung ginamit namin na borrowing frequency and the 5 key metrics of financial performance. So doon lang iikot yun. So doon iikot yung aming study. So let's start with the descriptive analysis or our frequency table. So our survey has 3 sections, which is the demographic profile. So we want to find out kung ano yung profile ng aming micro-entrepreneurs na nakalagay or currently residing at Barangay San Isidro, Cainta, Rizal, and as well as yung average sales nila the before utilizing TALA and after utilizing TALA. So we're also going to compare those two. And then yung ika-third section namin is just plain out if what is their perspectives or yung parang kanilang say dun sa 5 key metrics namin, and each key metric has 5 questions. So that is a total of 25 questions. So for our respondents' demographic profile, we only include 4. We have asked their type of business, and for their type of business, we have 54 sari-sari store. So, doon sa 100 respondents, almost kalahati talaga doon is sari-sari store owner. And then we also have the years in operation. 54% is 1 to 3 years. And we also ask the purpose of borrowing. Bakit ba sila nangungutang? They are using the Talaola. So, about 38% use Talaola for the purpose of purchasing inventory or raw material. So, that's for short term. And we have the number of times borrowed. Gusto na namin malaman kung ilang beses sa isang taon kadalasang umuutang. So, we have 2 to 3 times number of times borrowed. That's 46% in a year. So, medyo marami-rami. So, the responses average monthly sale naman who were in applying Tala, about 62% ang before sales nila is 10,000 to 20,000, 29,999. So, that's 10,000 to 30,000. Monthly sales, take note because micro-entrepreneurs do not have their yung parang pangmalakasan na financial statements. That's why they really rely on these key metrics. So, table 8 after that, so we have 30,000 to 50,000 at 60%. So medyo umangat siya na isang range. Doon naman tayo dun sa 5, so medyo magiging matagal-tagal to. So we just yung 5 key metrics natin, which is sales performance, profitability, cash flow natin, business growth. So we just ask them. And ang aming significant findings is, if we're going to look at it completely nang pinagsama-sama sila lahat, using our mean and verbal interpretation, hindi tayo nagkaroon ng neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree. So, naglalaro lang yung mga answers nila between strongly agree and agree. So, that's going to move na dun sa inferential analysis natin, which is the chi-square. So, bakit ba namin ginamit yung chi-square? Because we're dealing with categorical data. So, ang una muna namin ginawa is, yes, of course, we tabulate using our Excel, our trusted Excel sheet, using the summary of observed frequency. So, kinuha lang namin yung observed frequency. So, doon na natin i-base yung chi-square test results natin. So, with that, we've used So with our chi-square results, yes, we can perform it manually, but we also choose to do it using our trusted website na kadalasan ginagamit ng mga foreign literatures talaga for their statistics, chi-square statistics. So we're just going to make a summary that. So we have the 5 perception indicators. Yan yung sales performance, profitability, cash flow, business growth, financial stability. And our chi-square value is, yun na nga, nakita na natin that yung 4 is they are significant, they have a relationship between borrowing frequency and yung 5 key metrics na yun. Kaso nga lang, our significant findings kung ano ba talaga yung naging unique sa aming study is we found out that the business growth is not significantly affected. So wala silang correlation, di sila in relationship. So that's 8.68 as the chi-square value. So this matches with our theory kasi ang aming theory is the business growth theory na nagsasabi na doesn't mean you have the needed finances even though short term, sabihin na natin short term, is it really doesn't yield to better results.
Chapter 5, Summary of Findings, Frequently Borrowing from Tala helps improve micro-enterprises, sales performance, profitabilities, cash flow stability, and financial stability. However, it does not directly boost business growth, which may depend on the other factor. Overall, 4 out of 5 financial metrics are positively affected by Tala loans. Conclusion, for micro-business owner, use Tala online lending application wisely for business growth, track sales, or profit to ensure ROI. For student and future researchers, explore digital lending impact on micro-enterprises, compare apps, analyze long-term effects.
Chapter 5 Limitation. First, the study only used micro-entrepreneurs as the respondent. Micro, small, medium enterprises is out of scope. And area use is only Barangay San Isidro, Cainta, Rizal. Info outside this location may vary. And also, the survey is dispersed through online Google Forms. And although presented in ethical conditions and consent, may be subject to the respondent's manipulation. Fourth, we only covered the effects brought upon by the Tala online lending app usage to financial metrics for micro-entrepreneurs. And fifth, being business expansion key metric being null, interpreted as also affected by other external factors or effects like the marketing and entrepreneurial skills. And for our future scope and suggestion, and the study only used micro-entrepreneurs as the respondents and the area use is only Barangay San Isidro, Cainta, Rizal. So we suggest to increase the scope to further micro, small, medium enterprise and also to try to cover as many locations outside Barangay San Isidro, Cainta, Rizal. And survey is dispersed through online Google Forms, so we suggest that interview should also be considered and manual survey. And we only covered the effects brought upon the Tala online usage to the financial metrics for micro entrepreneurs. So we suggest further studies to increase studies about this combined 5 key metric, and also to study about business expansion key metric being affected by the loans and capital fundings.